Aristotle's Poetics, Chapter 5. Comedy is, as we've said, an imitation of characters of a lower type. Not, however, in the full sense of the word bad, the ludicrous being merely a subdivision of the ugly. It consists in some defect or ugliness which is not painful or destructive. To take an obvious example, the comic mask is ugly and distorted, but it does not imply pain. The successive changes through which tragedy passed and the authors of these changes are well known, whereas comedy has had no history, because it was not at first treated seriously. It was late before Archon granted a comic chorus to a poet. Their performers were till then voluntary. Comedy had already taken definite shape, when comic poets distinctively so called are heard of. Who furnished it with masks or prologues or increased the number of actors? These and other similar details remain unknown. As for the plot, it came originally from Sicily, but of Athenian writers Crates was the first, who, abandoning the iambic or lampooning form, generalized his themes and plots. Epic poetry agrees with tragedy insofar as it's an imitation in verse of characters of a higher type. They differ in that epic poetry admits but one kind of meter, and is narrative in form. They differ again in their length, for tragedy endeavors as far as possible to confine itself to a single revolution of the sun, or but slightly to exceed this limit, whereas the epic action has no limits of time. This, then, is a second point of difference, though at first the same freedom was admitted in tragedy as in epic poetry. Of their constituent parts, some are common to both, some peculiar to tragedy. Whoever therefore knows what is good or bad tragedy, but also knows about epic poetry. All the elements of an epic poem are found in tragedy, but the elements of a tragedy are not all found in the epic poem.